Delos and our salty crew have been sailing north of the Pacific coast of Costa Rica on our 2,000-mile journey from Panama to the Sea of Cortez. Costa Rica is a wild, rugged, and insanely beautiful place that has been full of wonder, challenges, and lots of surprises for us. But we were about to discover our biggest surprise yet, tucked away in the middle of thick jungle and muddy mangroves. We couldn't believe our eyes when we found this.
Whoa, this thing is crazy. It's unbelievable.
The last few days, anchored at different islands around the Gulf of Nicoya, had been quite a treat for us, filled with juicy mangoes, lots of laughs, and Sierra's first trip to prison. And now today, we would kick the day off with an early morning start deeper into the mangroves, where we had some plans to check out one of the most unique shipyards we'd ever heard of.
It turns out that there's a team of people in the Costa Rican jungle over here building wooden sailboats with the intention of carrying cargo, and we've been invited to go and check it out, get a little tour, and see what they're doing. So that's kind of our task for today. We've got about 8 miles to get over there, which isn't too bad, and yeah, it's a cool project. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Got a little bit of wind, got my iced coffee.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Que bueno.
Hey, well,
Let's do it. Ooh, tucked right in there, 1.6 meters.
that's it. That's all she wrote.
Whoa. This is kind of a crazy spot to be anchored. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, we should be able to get up the.
Whoa.
Be able to get up this river in the dinghy. I think they're right over there in the jungle.
Sweet. Well, let's check it out.
Oh, 3 feet. Where we anchored, it's like 22 feet, and just a few boat lengths back, it was 6 feet. And so we stopped in the perfect place. And I did like a circle around Delos to make sure that we don't come back with Delos on our side. That would sound
Look at all these birds just popping their heads out. They're like, hello. And we'll look around and then blink back down.
2.1 feet.
There it is. We're literally just in the middle of a jungle river. Now what? How do we get there?
I don't know how to get ashore.
And we just ran into the mud.
It's like literally a mud desert between us.
I think we
and
can just walk up right there, right?
It would probably be easier to walk along the rocks, because if you walk straight here, you're gonna. It's probably pretty soft mud.
Sierra, we'll lose Sierra.
Yeah.
She'll sink all the way to her neck. We have arrived.
Jeez, I'm up to my knees.
Costa Rica is just a little bit easier by land.
Yeah. So the recurring theme of all of our adventures.
Yeah.
But that's what makes it exciting, huh, Sierra?
Hey, adventures out there.
Well, the good news is that the anchor will be set real good.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to like rip out of the mud later.
Anchored.
Okay, here we go. Oh, that's so squishy. Oh my god, you sink in.
Oh! I don't like it. I don't like there's something down there that's gonna bite.
It's like, get your feet. The sounds when you're stepping.
We sludged our way through the thick mud under the beating hot sun for about 20 minutes, sweating and giggling about fart sounds the whole way. But once we made it, we were rewarded by our efforts by one of the most unique shipyards we'd ever come across in all of our years of sailing.
Brian the Builder. I like it.
Hold on.
Dang, we look good. And Karen's got the baby carrier too. It's just everything about this
is a modern day mom here.
is perfection.
Well, my name is Pierre. I'm the Communications Manager of Sail Cargo Inc. And this is the shipyard where Danny and Lynx start this project with the mission of proving the value of clean shipping.
Good morning, everybody. It's about 6:45 a.m. here at the Sail Cargo Inc. shipyard in Costa Rica. I'm Danielle, over here to show you guys the actual place where we're going to build Ceiba.
Pierre showed us around the yard, and our initial reaction was just complete awe at the scale of the project.
Whoa, this thing is crazy. It's so massive. It's unbelievable. I couldn't even picture. And then also imagine thinking this in 1 year, this is gonna be in the water, sailing around with cargo.
This is one of the first stops. This is the metal shop. This is where we are building everything from scratch. This project is quite new, so that's why we are trying to adapt or create the tools from start.
So is it traditional methods that you're using, or
Yes.
modern, kind of a mix of everything?
It's a mix. It's a mix. One of these examples is the nails. All the nails we made in here.
What's the reason for that?
Because of the size.
The length.
Exactly. We don't find it in the market.
This is very cool. So this is a gigantic saw for wood. They imported it from Canada, you said?
Mm-hmm.
And this is a great example of this. How old is the saw? Like 100 something years?
100 years.
100 years
yeah.
old? Look at what's powering it.
Oh, whoa!
Isn't that cool?
And it needs more than 8 people
It needs 8 people to operate this
operate
thing.
it. Yeah.
So cool. And what is it? It's just it's a saw?
It's a ship saw. It was shipped by ship from Canada. It's one of our most important symbols here in the shipyard.
Powered by an old motorcycle. Gary was just telling me about the wood. So all the wood that's used in the project is locally sourced here in Costa Rica sustainably. And what makes it sustainable? Are you planting trees after the other forest is harvested, or?
For us, we are having our own reforestation program that is part of our regenerative philosophy in the company.
Yeah.
So we are using wood, we are planting trees.
And the wood that's drying, it takes 1 year for every inch of thickness.
Yes.
And it has to be completely dry
Exactly.
before they can use it to build.
This is really cool. Just the fact that they're building like cargo ships to sail cargo around and then doing it all out of wood. It's gonna be so fascinating to see like when it actually goes in the water and how they're gonna sail around and how that all gonna work. And also like to see this community here is really cool because it's like just all of these people living and working together with all different professions and everybody has to eat and like, you know, they're all trying to do it sustainably and yeah, it's really cool. Did you enjoy it too, Sierra? It's fascinating.
As we explored around the shipyard, we quickly realized that this project was more than just a construction site. There are so many moving parts and people that work towards the mission of proving the value of clean shipping. They offer free courses related to boat building for members of the local community. They maintain a garden to grow food on site as part of the restorative provisioning plan to feed the 50 or so staff that are on site on a daily basis. And on top of just building the ship itself, they'll even operate and run the logistics of the actual shipping. To dive into all the pieces of this massive undertaking is well beyond the scope of what we're going to share with you today. But let's just say our minds were pretty blown. But now we're ready to check out the main event. Sail Cargo Inc.'s flagship vessel, Ceiba.
All right, so this area is right next to the ship that's being built. It's called a lofting floor, and it's literally all the measurements of the ship laid out on the floor so that you can know like the spaces, bulkheads, and the actual dimensions of the ship, lay things out, get it all set and measured and cut, and then take it over and put it in the ship itself. That's pretty cool.
The keel of Saba was laid in 2019, and over the course of the last few years, she's gone from a pile of wood under a canopy to the unshakable skeleton you see today. As a three-masted schooner, her primary drive will be the wind, with an auxiliary electric engine for maneuvering in ports. In addition to solar for generating power, hydropower will also be generated from the propellers while she's under sail. As an engineer, you probably know how much I love stats, so here's what you need to know about Saba. She'll be 150 feet long with a beam of 26 feet. Her rig will be 110 feet tall, and her draft will be 14 feet. Her cargo capacity will be 250 tons, with the equivalent space of about 9 20-foot shipping containers. Unloaded, she'll weigh in at 281 tons. With 14 sails and 6 additional hand-sewn canvas for light air, her sail area will be a whopping 6,300 square feet. Once operational, Saba will be the world's largest, active, and clean ocean-going cargo vessel in the entire world. At the time of our visit, her planned launch date was just about a year out, and as you can see, there's still a lot of work to be done. We were curious about what it's like to work on a project like this, and believe it or not, we actually bumped into a Delos follower who calls the shipyard home.
So you say your name is Robin, right?
Robin.
Where are you from?
Germany.
You're from Germany. And what brought you all the way to Costa Rica?
Actually 2.5 years ago, there was a German magazine covering sail cargo, talking about the ship, and I was doing my apprenticeship back then.
Yeah.
And I thought that's kind of like the perfect project to maybe one day work at. Now 2.5 years later,
That's cool,
I'm here
man.
on the boat,
Right
ferrying
on.
away.
And so your job is like you're working on the side of the hull and you're ferrying, so making it like straight and level plane before the planking goes on?
Exactly. So before the planking goes on, we need to make sure all the frames are in line and fair. And that's what we're doing right now. We got some long battens, and then we see the small gaps, adjust them so the planks can fairly sit on the frames and everything's tight on the frames.
How has it been to see the progress over the 2.5 years that you've been here?
Oh, when I saw the first couple pictures of the ship, you could see the first 4 or 5 frames and the beginning of the keel, and now it's coming along quite well. And I guess in 1 or 2 months, start the planking.
Wow.
So then the ship's gonna get sealed up. Not gonna look like a big skeleton, but a proper ship.
That's exciting.
Quite exciting.
It was pretty cool to see a group of creative people come together from all around the world who are so inspired to make this project a reality. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't curious about the nuts and bolts of how this could really work as a viable shipping business in an industry where customers want what they want exactly when they want it.
What do you guys think about the project overall? Like, I'm a sailor, and so, I know when people are shipping their goods from like A to B, and sometimes there's like a little wind or there's no wind.
I think it's not something new we're doing. We're picking up old traditions. So
That's true. Yeah.
It's all been done before, and we're going to do it again. And the difference is we're going to use an electric engine. But that's mainly for moving into harbors. Maybe we're used to having coffee really soon and at the same date. And I think the mindset of people has to switch a little bit.
I think so too.
That's kind of
Because like, for example, when we're traveling, people ask us, well, when are you going to be there? Don't you know? And we're like, well, it could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be 2 days from now, it depends.
Yeah.
Completely on the weather.
Yeah.
Right? We're at the mercy of the weather all
exactly.
the time. And so
We need to rethink so many things, and obviously shipping and cargoes being one of the biggest links. That's kind of the first step in a good direction, and we'll see where it
yeah,
takes us.
you have to change your mindset though.
Exactly.
From
And
like,
like,
we'll arrive at 10:15 a.m. until like, well, pretty soon.
people want a good coffee, sustainable coffee. Yeah, then you have to wait a little bit longer maybe. There are ships already sailing and doing it,
Yeah?
and they're successful, and they have bookings enough. So there's more cargo than ships. So
Yeah.
I think it's gonna work out, and people are ready for the change. So
I think so.
we believe in it.
Sierra's ready.
And
Sierra's
she
generation
believes
will
in
know.
it too.
She believes in it. Thank you so much for showing us around, and I can't wait to see her launch.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it'll be spectacular.
We have the same. Just a little bit of work to do.
Just a little bit.
We continue now. Hey, thanks.
All right,
Safe
thank
travel.
you guys.
Thank you.
Cheers, man. Nice to meet you.
Yo,
Nice to meet you.
Wow.
Sweet, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Pura vida.
Pura vida.
And wishing you the best of luck on the project.
Awesome. Thank
Maybe
you
we'll
so
have
much.
to come back and check next year for the launching.
Please do. You are very
And
welcome.
For everybody out there that's watching, do you have like some social media or something that everybody could check? Yeah?
Yes, of course. Go to Instagram and YouTube and Facebook as sailcargo.inc.
That's it.
Yes.
Okay. Amazing.
Awesome.
Sweet,
Thank you
man.
very much for coming.
Ciao.
And
Hasta
ciao.
luego.
Sue, I thought it would be cool to do like some FAQ. So the first one is from a patron, Andrew Berry, and he says, "Hey Delos, loving the videos. I decided to go back and watch from the start for like the third time. So,
That's amazing.
between video 12 and 13, is there anything from your Fiji time or Fiji to Vanuatu?" And that's actually when you joined the boat, which is pretty cool.
Yep.
Dates in Patreon seem a bit screwed up. Yeah, that's because Patreon didn't exist then.
Yeah.
Hope you three are all well and keep up the awesome work. Andrew from Auckland.
Oh, cool.
In my response to Andrew,
Yep.
hey Andrew, actually we didn't really start filming much until we got to Australia, but we have our memories and lots of blogs from that time which are interesting reading. So that's a good point. Before we started making videos, we actually wrote like around 300 blogs of Mexico and the South
Yeah.
Pacific.
And even when we started making the videos, we were still writing blogs. For quite
we were
a
still
while.
writing blogs. So if
Yeah.
and those blogs are on the website. So
Yeah.
if you head to svdelos.com, up at the top you'll see a thing called travel blogs, and then they're all sort of organized
Yeah.
by date and location.
There's some really good ones.
There's
in
some
there.
great
There was
blogs
some
in there.
crazy times.
There was some really, really bizarre times.
Yeah.
Yep, so that's the deal. That was pre-video. All right.
So
next.
yeah, go back and read some of those. That would be great. Maybe I'll
This
do it
is another patron comment, Maurice Pelkowski. Hey guys, since you are close to reaching Brian's circumnavigation, what are your plans for the mid to long term? Are you planning to stay on the west coast of the Americas for a while?
Mhm.
And will you eventually cross the Pacific in so that Kaza can finish her circumnavigation of the world as well?
The big question. What are our plans? I feel like we change every day.
Yeah.
I mean, I will finish my circumnavigation in the Solomon Islands.
Yep.
So we have to cross the South Pacific for that.
I mean, our plans only go out like 2 months. We know we're going to
Yeah.
be 2 months from now. I mean, I would love to cross the South Pacific again. It's just such an amazing, wonderful place to cruise.
Yeah.
And there's actually wind for sailing, which we've
Oh.
had a severe lack of the last couple months. Exotic islands and blue water and good diving. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's also a big commitment, because once you cross the South Pacific, you know, you're going downwind, and the first crossing to the Marquesas is like over 3,000 miles. And last time we did it, we had a very good sail. It was like 19 or 20 days. How would you feel about spending 20 days with Sierra
On the boat.
on the boat?
That would be tough.
That would be tough.
I think it would be tough for her too. Just
Yeah.
like she's that age now where she just loves to be outside, like
Mm-hmm.
a beach, and run around and climb, and like she can do that on the boat too. But it's even tough on a grown up for that long
Yeah.
passages, you know. And I think for her it will be pretty intense. Also for me, like the thing that I feel now is that I don't know if I'm ready to be that far away from family yet.
Yeah.
Like I feel like if we cross the South Pacific, like it becomes
The flights become like way harder and
Yeah.
way longer. Yeah.
and I'm not sure that I kind of like are ready for that just yet, but I think we will be.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah.
We're just gonna hang in Mexico.
Yeah. I mean the Sea Cortez, oh my god.
I'm probably gonna eat way too many tacos,
Yeah.
drink way too much beer, and then have to go cruising like out to get fit again.
And I'm super stoked about the sea, and just like everybody's just raving about it, and yeah,
We're just
it's gonna
taking
be
it
good.
1 month at a time out here.
I think it's also cool to mention that, like, if you do have specific questions and stuff, we answer all the messages we get on Patreon.
Yep.
Well, because all the other social media accounts kind of get a little bit crazy sometimes, and I'm not, you know, I can't always go through and answer all the messages. So, like, if you really want your question answered,
That's a very good point.
that's a good place to do it.
All right, we got one more.
Oh.
This is from David. This is actually a YouTube comment. Cool vid Delos. Hey, I've been following for a while now and never saw where and how the SV Delos logo originated. And if it stands for anything or means anything or is just a cool pic, please share all the details. Thanks in advance. Yeah, so actually, Yosha drew that.
Yeah.
Yosha drew it on a shirt for Brady for his birthday when we arrived in Australia, and I saw it and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. I was like, you know, I'm not like Buddhist or anything, but I think that a lot of the spiritual things that I believe in are very close to that. And so I just felt it sort of represented like sailing, the lifestyle, and the way that we like to live our lives. And then we changed it, like Karen added a sailboat, you added like some details and did some
The
fun
sailboat
things
was
to it.
there, but we just needed to like change a little bit for, to make it like
Ours.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much it. There was actually no plans. It was actually before we started making videos or anything, so it just came about.
And you have it tattooed on your back.
Oh, I do. Is it?
It's a little sweaty. Okay.
Can you see that?
Yeah, there we go.
There it is. Okay.
Oh God, you're wet.
All right, and we leave you with that.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Cheers. Thanks for watching. Bye.
I hope it's hard. I hope it's hard.
That's what she said. Hello, Jordan.
Hola,
Test,
buenos
test, test.
dias, crimes of passion. Sierra, we're trying to get a shot.
Ooh, that's a real juicy one.